Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody out there listening. Welcome to another edition of Totally Local Podcast. That's right, Totally Local Podcast, where we interview local businesses and colorful characters from in and around the Jersey Shore. If you want to follow us, our website is totallylocalpodcast.com. Instagram is totally_local_podcast. That was because Leo loves underscores. Leo is not here today, unfortunately. He has been partying and he's lost at sea. We haven't heard from him in a couple hours. We believe he's about 20 nautical miles off the coast of Asbury Park. That's the last time we got word from him. He might be in international waters by now. There might have been some pirates involved. I don't know. But we wish him the best, and we have the Coast Guard working on that. With me, helping me out today, is none other than Mike Ciavolino.
Ciavolino. That was an outstanding first attempt.
Thank you. Thank you very much. From Shore Creative Group.
Yes.
Located in Long Branch?
We are in beautiful downtown Long Branch, just about a half a mile from the beach. We share space above an old courthouse with the Link News. Maybe you're familiar with the Link News?
I think I've heard of the Link News.
Yeah. So thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. I know a lot of people are, busy getting their groove on and whatnot for the 4th of July. I don't know how normal, everyday working Joes do it, but if Wednesday is 4th of July, and then you got, it's Thursday.
Thursday.
Sorry, see, I'm not in tune with the schedule.
Thinking ahead.
Yeah. If 4th of July happens on a Thursday, what do people usually do on a Friday? I imagine a lot of people are, partied last night.
Yeah, I don't think there were too many 9 a.m. meetings today.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, it's who's going to really, bust your chops for showing up or not showing up on a Friday.
Right, you still smell like a firecracker,
What, speaking of firecrackers, you were out in, where did you go? Ocean?
Yeah, I was. I went to Ocean Fest, which my son wanted to go. I have 14-year-old triplets, so.
Oh, whoa.
If anyone's
Hold on a second.
looking for me, I'll be dying at my desk.
You have 3 14-year-olds?
I do, yeah.
Now, I don't think you would know about this because we just met like 2 seconds ago, but I am about to have my first child.
You're kidding.
I am not. And
make sure you just have one at a time.
That's what I was seeing, if one was like hiding behind the other, if one was like photobombing. We couldn't really tell in the ultrasound, but as far as I know, I saw one.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you guys know what you're having? Or
my
is
wife,
it a secret thing?
Yeah, my wife will not let me know. She won't. We've got the paper. And
so she knows, but you don't.
No. She doesn't. She won't let me know, nor does she know.
Okay.
We got the paper from the nurse, and the nurse used like a Sharpie on it. So you could kind of see in the light, and I might have an inkling, but I can't divulge or say because I don't want to, At this point, I would just like to know. But I want to keep my wife happy. So there's a battle there, and we all know.
Maybe like the 6th caller could be the one person you tell.
That would be fine. So call in right now, and let us know if you want to know. I'll let you know. I'll give you the piece of paper, and then maybe my wife will just harass that person.
Thank you for having me on the show today. We did just meet a few moments ago.
Just a few moments ago.
And I will say, when I looked at your website here on the screen here, it's Facebook Live, folks, and. I thought it said Totally Apocalyptic Podcast. So I'm like, wow, what are we going to talk about?
That's right.
Ocean Fest.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about the madness that must have been the Jersey Shore for you yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So was out and about in Long Branch. I took one of my 3 because we have to subscribe to the divide and conquer format for childcare.
Is it like 3 boys, 3 girls?
2 boys and a girl.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so you have various levels of smart mouth talkback, which you'll become all too familiar with.
Is there like a quiet one, or are they all just loud?
We have one quiet one,
okay.
So he's just doesn't talk to us, and then the other 2. You don't want to talk to you. So I took the loud one down to Ocean Fest yesterday.
Okay.
It was just, I could not believe how many, it was like all of New Jersey had descended upon this postage stamp of space at Pier Village. It was insanity. So
I kind of, not to get too cheesy because I've been known to do that, but it is kind of nice to see, especially in this day and age, in this climate. Like when I went down to Asbury Park last year, and you see every walk of life, and they're just hanging out. when people gotta like interact with each other, I don't care what way you lean on anything, and this is by no means ever a political podcast unless we have Mike DeGeorge on who insists on talking about ridiculousness. But you know, it's really nice in that respect. Now, do I want them to be shoulder to shoulder with me and yelling and you know, kids and everything everywhere?
No, it's like the zoo. You're on the other side of the glass there.
So, you know, but that aspect of it is nice. So you stayed down and saw the fireworks.
No, I got out of there before the fireworks started. We watched the fireworks from another town.
I'm pretty. Which town did you watch them from?
Oceanport.
Okay.
The ocean.
The
That's where
safety of Oceanport.
Yeah, got away from
the water. You go
the
back a
immediate
little
danger.
bit.
Yeah.
Oceanport is
like when Godzilla comes ashore. You need a few miles back.
That's a good idea because even though, you know, Oceanport, it's a little deceiving. It's not on the ocean.
Yeah, you're right out of harm's way.
So did you grow up in the area?
I did. I went to Howell High School. Didn't even know we were free to leave at that time. Found that out later.
Yeah.
But yeah, grew up in Howell in the 80s. So, you know, watch a show like Stranger Things. It's like, oh my God.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, you know, we had bikes like that. You put, you know, baseball cards in the spokes and...
We definitely, we consider, you know, Howell and Ocean County is definitely the South. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't think that, you know, a lot of people that I know that have moved to Ocean County, to Brick, to the area, they're really apologetic. And I'm like, I'm here to tell you that, you know, that's, you should, you know, being from Howell, howl it proud. Tell everyone, you know.
That's a new campaign we're embarking on.
That's good. I like that. Proud. You know, I love Ocean County. Tom's River, because of the show, I got introduced to Tom's River. I decided, Leo kind of fought me on this one, and he's not here to defend himself, which is great. You can kind of see in the logo where we highlight Monmouth and Ocean County.
I see that, yeah.
Because I feel not only do, you know, to harken back to the idea of the apocalyptic nature of what you saw out there, I feel like overpopulation has just spilled out into Ocean County. So,
which is almost like an apocalypse. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're not there yet. There's plenty of room in Ocean County. So, you know, what I say to all my my real estate buddies or anybody that's looking to buy property is just go into Ocean County. Yeah. There's tons of room down there. And the Pine Barrens or the Pine area is lovely.
Just bring an axe.
Yeah.
Carve out your own.
Carve it down and use it as the walls.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
You know. So you live in Oceanport. You love the area.
Oh yeah.
And your business is based in Long Branch.
Yeah. So Shore Creative Group is a full service marketing agency. We opened our doors in 2008 in Long Branch. So we've been around 11 years now. Proud of that and. Handle local clients and then also some hospitals and health systems that are, you know, out of our immediate market.
What got you into, like, how long have you been doing marketing? What got you into marketing?
Yeah, so I never wanted to do this.
Nobody.
But it's like 30 years too late, so I'm sort of stuck with it. But I wanted to be. I wanted to be a TV anchorman is what I wanted to be.
I could see that.
Yeah, so they couldn't. So that didn't go anywhere. But I did get an interview with this guy. His name was Charles H. Milton III. Now,
nice.
You don't look old enough to recall that name, but
thank you.
If you watched football in the 70s, like I would watch with my dad, you know, at the end of the game, another Giants loss, it would say, executive producer Charles H. Milton III on your screen. I'm like, wow, you know, and now I'm meeting this guy. And so he made me wait nearly an hour, interviewed me for 2 minutes, and then kicked me out. So
that's your claim to anchor fame.
There was my literal 15 minutes of almost fame. So from there, I went into got a job at a marketing agency in Newark. And the interesting thing about that was my first boss, I meet this guy, so he's a George Burns lookalike. Like, this is seriously his side hustle. So, and he comes out.
No way, he does like.
He comes out to interview me, and I'm in the lobby. I'm like, this guy looks like George Burns. He's smoking a cigar. He's got the glasses on. Yeah, come in here. I'm like, all right. Yeah, I was chewed out by a George Burns lookalike every day for the first 5 years of my career.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
18 again. I used to love that movie.
Yeah, right.
That was a little later in his career. But
he was like perpetual. I think he was born at the age of 70, and then
he just stayed that.
Yeah,
like
it was always that way.
So you got into marketing, and you kind of just stuck with it. You rode the wave.
Yeah, rode the wave, and you know, changed agencies a few times, and then worked on Madison Avenue for a bunch of years, and Met my wife at the time, who was a nurse in the city, and she's from Lacey, Ocean County.
New Jersey, you can't escape it.
Yeah, so we're like, we want to get back to our roots here at the shore. So decided to open the agency during a recession. Always,
that always works well.
And have triplets. Let me double down.
That's great. Triple
on
down.
This pile of misery. And
and you moved to Oceanport from.
So we were living in Montclair. We sold that house. Loved Montclair. What a great town.
Yeah.
You could do a whole podcast.
We should go up there.
Apocalypticmontclair.com.
Perfect.
And yeah, so sold our house, moved to Monmouth Beach, and we're there for a while. Now we're in the OP.
That's awesome. What did you deal with Sandy at all when you were? Did your house survive?
Yeah, so we had damage to the house, had to move out, went through the whole process that everybody else did, having to, fill out the forms and wait forever to have your house lifted. And
and then hire somebody else to do it, and then wait for them, and then hire somebody else to do it.
Right. So we went through all that, had a giant hole in our backyard forever where the deck was.
Yeah, yeah. What as far as the marketing agency goes, is there you mentioned like the health field that you kind of focus on that. Was there any kind of, was it just one client led to another as far as the health side of it?
So great question. Thank you. The last agency I worked at on Madison Avenue, they had a large portfolio of employer brand clients where like Nabisco was a client, Lever Brothers was a client, Connors Publishing. And, it was the age of internet and digital was coming upon us, and they realized that, people are making their choices on their next place of employment the same way they're making decision about any other important purchase in their lives. They're going to look at reviews. They're going to go check out their social proof. They're going to go and see what, the other employees are saying. So companies realized they needed to develop this talent brand if they were going to bring in the people to do the job. And so that sort of became a whole field in and of itself. And also coupled with the fact that the people tasked with this on the client side their skill sets are typically HR, like human resource related, which doesn't really lend itself to marketing. So they needed the help of agencies to help them develop this quote-unquote personality and to talk about their culture. So I wanted to do that for myself and work with people that I wanted to work with, and that was the impetus to open up my shop.
What was the, dealing with your own business is a certain kind of
hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say hell. I was like, should I say hell? I was like, I shouldn't say hell. I was gonna say something about torture, which is related to hell in some cultures. What would you say were some of the pitfalls that when you started your business, especially with marketing, because you're dealing with other businesses, what are some of the pitfalls that you could aside from like don't do it, but like if somebody is going to do it and open their own business and do this kind of a thing, what are some of the pitfalls you could tell people to avoid? Yeah,
I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I was an account guy by trade and a writer, and that's what I knew. I didn't know anything about bookkeeping or finance or billing or job margins or having staff work for me or some aspects of project management. There was just so much I didn't know. What to do with the money when it comes in, paying your taxes as being self-employed. So there were, major kick in the asses all the way up and down the line. You just hope to survive them. Yeah. So I would say that when somebody goes into business for themselves, they're typically going in as a technician of some kind. I'm an account guy, or you're a web designer or something, and like, I'm going to start my business. But what you need to do is sort of step outside the business. Sounds cliche, but sort of work on the business rather than working in the business. Create a vision for it and sort of approach it from more of a macro perspective. And I wish someone had told me that.
Oh, boy. What did you like? Okay, so when you jumped into your own business, did you take out a loan? Did you have like a nest egg? Did you save money and then do it? Or did you just say, I'm going to quit my job and just go right into my business?
Yes, massively impulsive. Just quit my job, went into it. And then, of course, we ran through all of our savings during the recession. And when my wife couldn't work because she was home on modified bed rest with triplets.
Triplets.
So yeah, that was another thing that I didn't consider.
Would you? I mean, looking back on it, I mean, raising a family, it's kind of. I would imagine that it was super stressful at the time, and you thought it was the apocalypse. But now looking back on it,
I
you
thought
could
that's why I was on the show. We didn't talk about my.
I mean, it seems like something, or it seems like to me, obviously I'm going to be having a child, family, all these kind of things. And there's a part of me that is, looking at it as like, wow, this is going to be super stressful and crazy. But then there's another part of me, like when I think back on all the things that I used to be worried about, and then I look at it now, it's kind of like the funny parts kind of rise up, and then the dreadful parts are kind of like lowered down. So do you feel like that was kind of your experience with?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so. And the other thing that you can't minimize, Andrew, as you head into fatherhood here is your kid will provide a built-in excuse for stuff that you don't want. Well, can't make it.
Nice.
Don't have a sitter.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
So
So you had that like.
if you need any excuses,
I guess people just never bothered you because they're like, he's got
no,
triplets. There's
he can't even
never-
leave the house.
Is it like you get like one kid and it's like the outbreak monkey where one catches a cold and then they all get the cold?
Oh yeah, and then you get it too
Uh-huh.
afterwards.
Oh man, wow! You should really Oceanport should just give you like some kind of award just for surviving the triplets, having your own business, and then dealing with the deck that I hope got fixed eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
All right,
I
good.
think they're going to ask us to leave. So, but and like I was saying, you never leave the house. So like you'll have a grocery delivery, and it's like shipments like of the army
Uh-huh.
delivering alcohol by like the war chest full.
Do you try to keep your kids like as they were growing? Did you try to like keep them smaller? Maybe put them in smaller. How if you keep a plant in a smaller room, it's smaller. Did you try to keep the kids in smaller rooms? Or are they like bigger now? They grew. You have to keep buying them shoes.
Oh yeah.
Did they grow since they're triplets? Did they all like grow at the same time?
They grew in different one, and so first of all, they were very small. My one son was 2 pounds 3 ounces.
Oh,
Two of them were in the ICU for
wow.
41 days. The NICU.
Well, I'm glad everything.
Yeah.
Glad they're okay.
I
I'm
was,
like making light of it, and then they had a rough start.
They were tiny, yeah.
Okay.
So that was we punished them for not being good fetus. So, but now they're grown, and they just consume like everything in their path. Like we have as a household, like the carbon footprint of China. It's ridiculous. We've like the garbage is. We have our own truck that comes just for our house, and then it does the rest of the neighborhood.
Okay. Do you rate them on a scale, and does that scale fluctuate? Like, is there the one you're the good one, and you could stay up here, and then you kind of let the other ones know that they need to try harder? How do you kind of maintain or manage triplets?
Yeah, so we have one that's good, and he's sort of the poster boy, and the other two, they're not good.
They're just like
They're never ascending.
They're like, we're never going to be that good, so
No.
we might as well just kind of.
That's right. They've given up already.
That's
Just
awesome.
admirable quality.
That's cool.
Like,
Well, you could go one or two ways: either super optimistic or just stay really baseline realistic.
yeah, I think they're just going to wear sweats for the rest of their lives every day.
Well, I can't blame them.
Yeah.
So they're 14. So you got like 4 years left on your time,
Yeah,
and then they're hopefully out of the house in some
Yeah.
capacity, right?
or I'll die. That would be acceptable also.
Okay.
I think
'Cause
I'll be more valuable to them in that capacity.
My younger brother, like I went to college, and then my younger brother, who's he's like 12, 13 years younger than me. My mom would get mad at me because he would be getting ready to go. He's graduating and stuff, and I'd be like, "Don't go to college, man." And she'd be like, "Why are you telling him?" I'm like, "It's kind of a waste of time these days. Like, I spent a lot of money, and what do I have to? I have a media arts degree. Like, do you want him walking out with a media arts degree? I mean, it's whatever."
I'm saving you $50K a year.
Yeah, exactly. Just just go jump into the real world now. Don't wait. Part of me would tell him like it's really fun, but from like a debt perspective, you should probably just are you preparing them to go to college, or are you just letting them kind of set their own boundaries as far as what they do after they graduate high school?
I think they're all sort of looking at college as the next sort of natural progression.
But they're gonna go. You're telling them to get out of the
Yeah,
state.
as far as possible.
That's what I
International.
I left the state. My parents didn't have. I was leave. They're like,
Where did you
going?"
go?
I went to the University of New Mexico.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it was. I wanted to go somewhere where it was always sunny. I could study film and TV, so I could basically watch movies all the time, and that was super cheap. And Albuquerque at the time fit the bill. Not so much now, but at the time it really fit the bill. It was super cheap to go out there.
So what was that experience like going to college in Albuquerque?
Oh man, I don't know if you know this, but outside of New Jersey, people from New Jersey are not looked upon in a positive light.
Yeah, I've heard.
And I didn't realize how loud we are as a culture until we went somewhere other places. People thought I was angry. People thought I was loud. I was just like, this is how we talk. You know, this is all just raised up a little bit. It really helped me being out there to kind of chill out and not drive as fast or worry, because you show up to an appointment and they're just like, oh yeah, we'll get to you in a second. And like you might wait 15 minutes and you can't really get mad, because when you're in the asylum and you're the only sane person, then it turns out that you're actually the crazy person and all the other people are sane. So I was dealing with their time, on their schedule and their pace. And it slowed me down to the point where when I moved back and I'm driving down 36 and I'm going like 36, people are beeping at me and cursing at me. I'm like, hey, what's the problem? It took me a little time to like acclimate to a faster kind of speed.
So let me ask you this. So they don't condone flipping people off when you're driving?
They don't. I mean, I think it might have to do with the gun laws out there.
Yeah.
People are like packing like most of the time, so most people are kind of chill.
Better be drawing something more than your finger.
Yeah, and their highways you're going like 70, like when you're on like the highway, it's like 75 miles an hour, so they're going very fast. And you're dealing with a lot of different cultures that are kind of clashing in this hot desert area where they're worried about water rights. So it's kind of like, when you're worrying about, it was like Mad Max style, and they're worried about water rights, you gotta be on your best behavior, basically. So as far as being, in the area, you're working in the area, you do stuff with medical and health and recruitment, but you also work with local businesses. What was the transition like going from a time when there might not have been, like social media, when it started creeping in? How did you work with local businesses to kind of let them know that you guys got to step? Like, were people ready to step it up? Because I do find that this is a lot, even though we're close to New York City, it's a lot different. People are still a little behind on this stuff. So how did you introduce them to things like social media?
Well, one of the challenges we needed to overcome was so from a local perspective, we work with some banks, credit unions, law firms, professional services firms. So the fear was compliance and doing or say anything that would either lose them business or get them embarrassed. So getting them to put their toe in the water was the biggest challenge.
Really?
So a lot of fear. And then when doing so, fine, we'll do social media, but getting businesses to truly exhibit, let their guard down, say what their personality is, talk about what really makes them unique, not just brand speak, but real stuff, was a challenge that was tough to overcome.
Have you talked to any clients about doing like podcasting and stuff like that? Because I've definitely mentioned it to people. Not everybody, because as you know, some businesses like the president might not be a George Burns impersonator and might not have a personality of their own even to where they can do this sort of stuff. But I feel like, in the right context, I've talked to a dentist before, and he's like, oh, yeah, I listen to dentist podcasts all the time. I'm like, well, I wouldn't, but that's a really interesting niche. So have you talked to any clients about doing stuff like that?
Well, we started to recently, but certainly with the advent of me doing my own here at A Shared Universe.
I'm sorry, what's the name of your podcast again?
Thank you. It's called Apocalyptic Today. No, it's called... It's called.
We might be onto something.
Yeah, I think we should brainstorm this.
Yeah, like we could people building shelters, what to pack,
or it could just be like a busy shore weekend. It's kind of apocalyptic.
Perfect.
But it's called the Talent Brand Show, and my co-host is Donna Cardillo, RN, the Inspiration Nurse. The first show drops July 10th on our website, talentbrandshow.com, and also you can find it wherever you can find podcasts, on iTunes, Android and Google, and we record it right here at A Shared Universe. Which,
thank you, Ming.
Yeah, so for businesses, listen, as a marketer, Andrew, creating content is where it's at. It's the way people want to find out about you.
Genuine content, not that bullshit. Pardon my French.
Yeah, so it's your show. Podcasting is just another, as you know, great form of content development.
Yeah, it's fun too. It's got to be fun. If you have a business, you've got to find something to intrigue, humor, or you got to find your right niche. You don't have to be, and this is what I find with businesses sometimes, is you don't have to be everything to everyone. There's a certain amount of knowledge that any business owner, as I'm sure you know, has. You know, when we're talking about what you went through and how you experienced it, you could take those experiences and convert them into content that people, you know, they'll be Googling it or they'll be talking to their friends about it. Oh, you should check this out, you know. So what kind of led you into wanting to start what was the impetus to start your own podcast?
So, you know, as I mentioned, the agency has the niche of healthcare recruitment, and I didn't see a lot of shows on healthcare recruitment specifically in the vast world of podcasts out there. So I thought it'd be nice to try to do something different, try to provide solutions through our guests that are experiencing these things right now for themselves. How are they bringing in nurses? How are they creating a culture of empowerment? How are they promoting their employer brand? What are they doing on recruitment marketing side that might be a little different? How are they doing their employer referral programs? So we have our guests on to talk about these things and hopefully provide some solutions for our listeners.
That's great. I mean, and I think that is, you know, everything that you've just mentioned and the fact that it is this niche, like, don't do what Totally Local did, which is basically we're just talking to everyone.
You're local.
Yeah, if you're local and you can talk, then you can be on here. And, you know, if you know sign language, you could do that too. It might not be as interesting when you listen to the audio version. But so you're doing it kind of the right way where you're finding this niche and this experience that you have. And I think that's great to even show the other businesses that you're working with that there is there's definitely somewhere where you could fit in this giant big world that we live in. And I think that's fantastic. The idea that you're starting this. Are you going to be doing like a weekly? Are you doing it live? How are you going to do it?
So every week we're doing it weekly. We've recorded a few shows first.
Nice.
We haven't done any live ones yet because we wanted to get the bugs out and we wanted to record a few.
Just jump in it.
Yeah. Well, I see that. We should probably have a little more impromptu philosophy.
It's fun. It makes it a little more fun, and the whole idea of having the video. You know, we post ours. We'll post ours onto, we'll have it on Facebook, obviously. Then we can have it on YouTube. Then we have it broadcast to all the places you mentioned as far as where to have podcasts.
Medium brown on your toaster oven.
Perfect.
Yeah. Right in.
And then there it is, right in front of you every morning. So there's definitely like something to consider too with having multiple outlets for content. So I think that's fantastic. Is there any as far as local, because we are totally local and talking about niches, that's our niche. Is there any, as far as what you're doing this weekend or what you would say would be fun in the summer, being on the Jersey Shore? I know you're from Howell and Ocean. I don't know what they have, like, barrel rolling contests or like log chopping. I don't know what they do down there. But up here, is there any kind of things that you're looking forward to or different businesses that you're going to visit or, go to
this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend.
So a little potpourri of all of the above there.
Nice.
We like to kayak.
Oh, perfect.
We're a kayaking family, so we'll get out on the Shrewsbury with our crafts and
is it like a 3-seater for the kids?
Yeah, so we needed like an armada to fit the whole family out there. So we have a double, and then they're then the rest of the crew in singles.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So
where do you go to, like, Manasquan, or do you go to the Like, you don't go in the you go in like the where do you go?
Right in the river.
Okay.
We'll find a boat ramp, throw it right in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have like a little? I've seen those little wheels.
Yes.
You put it on. You roll. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So invariably it falls off, lands on your feet. And then we're fans of Jack's Goal Line Stand in Long Branch. So when you have kids, I don't know where you live, but
I live down in the Shark River Hills.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we're right there.
So like Kelly's-ish.
Oh, is that what Jack's is? Kind of like, okay, it's like a eatery.
Yeah, eatery, pub.
Nice.
So, and my kids can play video games or whatever, or not talk to me and be on their phones.
How do you manage that world of like that's what I want to kind of move to the woods and not have them deal with. I think I'm going to be I would like to see myself as being a dad from the 80s that was transported to the present time. Like, I don't want them to deal with phones or any of the shenanigans that go along with phones.
So the primary form of communication with your children will be text.
Okay.
Unless they come up with something new.
All right.
Which they probably will.
Okay. All right, good to know.
Yeah.
So I just get used to it.
Yeah.
Did they like coerce you? How did they go about getting phones? Like, was it your wife being like, you know, was it like her being like, we can't get in touch with them. We need to.
There's the veil of, well, for safety purposes.
Yeah.
But okay. Yes, that's true.
Mhm.
In the, God forbid, the instance or two
Yeah.
where real communication is important.
Mm-hmm.
But primarily it's to
I would be.
fuel their social, situation.
I grew up in Highlands and.
Love Highlands. I lived there for a while.
Oh, really? It's a beauty. It has its beautiful side, and then there's the other side. But it's really great. I would, and especially in the summer, I'd wake up in the morning, eat horrible sugar-filled cereal, and barely talk to my parents. They were doing whatever they were doing, and I would just go
like
outside.
the box was in front of you, the back of the cereal box.
And then I'd go outside, and I would just kind of hike. I'd go to the lowlands of the highlands, go up, just go in the woods and do all. They had no idea where I was all day. From one side of the town to the other, there was the Highlands Bridge. Kids were like swinging off it, like. I can't imagine what I would walk to school. I'd walk to school. Not that it was like one of those, uphill in the snow, but I'd walk to school a good mile or whatever it was.
Nobody cared. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. Nobody was bothering me.
Now everything's police now.
Yeah.
We were allowed to be much more reckless.
What did you got like a tracker on your kids, or how do you keep track of them?
Yeah, we injected them with
Nice.
special dye so that no, we just keep in touch with them via phone, and you have to trust at some point. You have to
the panic,
let them go forth.
The panic and fear kind of dissipates over time, especially with 3 of them.
Yeah. So
Okay.
one son rides his bike everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
which now when we were younger,
Yeah.
that was it. Like
Yeah.
you took your bike was your life. But now, I don't know, I get freaked out. I feel like there's more cars on the road.
Does he wear a helmet? You tell him wear a helmet?
Wears a helmet.
All right, because I never wore a helmet.
No, God no. But yeah, and people are on their phones and all, so they're not paying attention to my kid in the shoulder.
Yeah.
But you have to let them live their life.
Yeah. I remember one time when I was a kid, I fell. I fell off the side of it's like a story of stairs, hit the cement, cracked my head open. And my mom, to this day, she can't talk about it. Because it was like, I was young, and I landed on, good thing I had a head, because I landed on it.
No helmet.
No helmet. Protected the
I
rest
think
of
the
my
law
body.
came into place based on that.
Yeah, there
that
was some,
incident.
there was some report. They were asking me questions, but I was a little out of it. So.
The Andrew Law, they signed it in.
Must wear a helmet at all times. But as far as being in this area, where do they going in Shore Regional, or where are they?
They're gonna go to Shore Regional. It'd be
SRH?
Blue Devils.
Yeah, it's so funny. I went to Catholic school, and we'd play against the Blue Devils, and we would lose. Go figure. You'd think that we would win, but
God would be on your side.
yeah, no, it did not happen at all. We lost to the Blue Devils.
Yeah.
Who was thinking of that name? Come on,
Fix was in for sure.
It's kind of cool.
They were allowed to be on steroids.
Exactly. This was really impromptu, and I really got to say thank you, Mike.
It was a pleasure being on your show.
You're just a natural. I can't wait to hear this podcast. I don't know. I'm going to listen to it, but if it's a lot about HR, medicals, I don't know. But I'll pass it on. I know a lot of nurses and doctors and people. I could let.
Well,
them
let
know.
us know what show you're going to listen to. We'll intentionally jazz it up.
Jazz it up a
Be
little
shirtless or something. Like
And
that.
you got hopefully you're working on a deal with PM Dawn for a theme song.
Yeah.
Can't really get into it right now, but I'm looking forward to if you're what's gonna be.
If Christian blesses it, no pun intended, we shall go forth with our PM Dawn intro and outro music.
Next time I see Christian, I'm gonna be like, dude, are you kidding me?
I want that music.
I'm gonna be like, you gotta tell me what it was like growing up. Do you have any of the wardrobe? Can you wear some of the outfits from the video?
Maybe in the studio.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
He was Prince B was in a Burger King commercial way back when too.
Oh really?
Yeah, he did like a little jam.
Wow, you were a true Prince B
I
fan.
was, yeah. Yeah.
All right, Mike. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to it. Burgers, hot dogs, and feeding a giant army of a family.
Thank you, Andrew. It was a pleasure being on your show.
Thank you so much. This is super last minute, and I really appreciate it. As always, people, this is Totally Local podcast where you never know what's going to happen. I'd like to thank Ming and the Shared Universe Podcast Studio once again for allowing us to do our thing here. Follow us on Instagram, totally_local_podcast, totallylocalpodcast.com. We miss you, Leo, and hopefully we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming next week. Everyone be safe this weekend.
Have a fantastic post-4th of July weekend, folks.
Pay attention to the bicyclists on the road, please. And we'll leave it at that.